there, my name is Jason Tremblay, and in this final video of the TSG Athlete Management System 8th edition video playlist, I'll go over some of the individualization features that we've made for custom RPE or RIR profiles, as well as first and last rep velocity training and inputting and reviewing velocities using the training journal. So I'll share my screen and let's get started. So all of the individualization features for RPE in terms of the tables the system's going to look at are in the coach dashboard, and they're in these three tables down here. So the first one we'll do is a custom RPE table. So let's say that you know what an athlete's 3 rep max and a 5 rep max are. Maybe we have an athlete who's really quite gifted at grinding out reps, but it doesn't necessarily carry over to maximum strength. So I'm going to click custom RPE load profile, and you'll see these tables go all wacky, and that's because we don't have any values in them. But we'll put custom RPE load profile here. And now you could see that RPE 9 single is likely to be 177.5, but RPE 10 is 180, right? We know their 1RM's 180. For some odd reason, you know, they can grind 3 reps out real hard, but doesn't mean that their 1RM is, you know, 10 kilos higher. So if you compare that, let's say RPE 9 single 177.5 versus an RPE 9 single using the standard RPE tables. The standard RPE table says this lifter should work up to around 170 kilos if we were to prescribe an RPE 9 single. However, we know due to their individual differences and the profiling that we've done, that actually 177.5 is a more likely number for them. So let's go take a look at how we can prescribe that in the program. So we're actually going to go to week 3, where we prescribed an RPE 8 triple, which it's saying is 170 kilos as a suggested load here. Whereas if I turn the setting back to the standard relationship, it's now saying that it's 157.5 kilos. So if you want to add an extra touch of individualization to an athlete's training, and you know their 1RMs, even if you only know them in like the 3 rep max or the 5 rep max or the range that you're training in, even the 5RM, the 7RM, you can input those numbers, and it'll start to give you some more stats and some more different rep. So reps are up here and RPEs are down here, possibilities to prescribe in the program to individualize their training loads a bit. I found that this style of training is best for athletes who are outliers, whether it's due to their psychological approach to training, just ultra high motivation. Usually that's coupled with some biomechanical abnormalities that allow them to grind out reps, or maybe have like just a super sharp drop off in strength from their ability to perform reps versus 1RM. Or sometimes it's, you know, on bench, especially like ultra short range of motion bench pressers, programming them off of the standard percent 1RM to rep max relationship isn't a good idea. So this, you know, if you have a short range of motion bench presser, maybe it's a good idea to make their table and then to prescribe RPE instead of percent 1RMs, to give them a little bit more strain and guidance into the loads that they should be selecting. So I'm going to turn this back to standard, but we're going to focus on first rep velocity. So you can do this for any percent 1RMs that you have. You can do 70, 75, 85, 90. This is my velocity testing protocol. So I'll have athletes take 1 rep, 3 minutes rest at these percentages of their 1 RM, do it as fast as you can. So let's say 0.38, 0.42, 0.44, 0.45, 0.46. So you see it's not a linear trend line, but we can start to and then you don't have to put the weights, but you can up here. You can start to see that there's a linear regression as once we get past 85%, they're really, we're dropping off by 0.02 or 0.04 per lift. So now if we go into the program for squat, this is quite cool. You'll see when we prescribe 85%, it's saying the first rep velocity should be within this window. And we can actually customize that too. So let's take a look at how we can adjust it. So now we're doing plus or minus 0.02 meters per second over or under the velocity of 85%. So the velocity of 85% is 0.42. And so we're saying you can do 0.4 to 0.44 for your first rep. And so if you want to get an athlete away from training off of percentages, you want to get them auto-regulating their training based on velocity instead. You could tell the athlete, I want you to work up to first rep within this velocity range. And again, you can customize the size of that velocity range to make it as small as you want, really. So now you have a target first rep velocity. And you could also get a target last rep velocity. So let's say the client's done an AMRAP to failure. And this would be 10 RP, 9 RP, 8 RP, 7 RP, 6 RP, 0.22, 0.25, 0.229, 0. Actually, let's make this a little bit more of a realistic data set. Something like that's more plausible, because 90% we're saying is about 0.38. So if we're prescribing a single at 90%, it should be around 3 RAR after that, which would be around 0.38 as well. And then you can say maybe 0.4. And so now, whenever we prescribe a percentage on squat, we'll have a stop velocity that represents the target RPE. So the target RPE also operates on a range system. So when I prescribe a set of 4 at 85%, that's a target RPE of 8, because the rep max for 85% is 10, right? So or is 6, sorry. And so 2 minus 6, or 6 minus 4 is 2, which means that we're leaving 2 repetitions in reserve. And so the last meters per second column will look up the velocity for the target RPE. And so now, if you wanted to get away completely from percentage-based training, you could say, I want you to work up to your first rep velocity in this range, and I want you to do as many reps as you can until you hit this last rep velocity. Or you can customize this further, right, by prescribing different loads as well, whether it's heavier or lighter. So lots of possibilities for individualization here, whether that's via velocity or RPE. The next thing I'll show is RPE. So you'll see I'm typing 1 and 1 here. When I do that, that means that the system's gonna show a range of 1 under the target RPE and 1 over the RPE. So you can instruct your clients that, hey, if these sets are either lighter than the prescribed RPE range, you can increase the weight for the next set. Or if it's heavier, you need to either stop the set before you exceed this RPE range or decrease the weight for the next set. And you can customize that quite a bit. So now you could do something like 7 to 10, for example. So there's quite a few different possibilities for adjusting the settings to either set up some RPE based boundaries for how easy or how difficult your training program should be, or some velocity based training boundaries. Of course, we also have the option, if you just wanted to say 0.3, you can just type that in and stop at 0.25, right? You can just manually type that in as well. You've seen me do it throughout this tutorial. You can just manually type in an RPE over the formula if you want to prescribe an RPE. Finally, if you want to just prescribe a custom weight, just type that in and it will be good to go. You could type it over the kg or the pounds formula. So that's our athlete management system. I hope that you enjoyed this tour and that it was informative to you. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section below. Thank you, and take care.